All right, let's talk about Malcolm and Marie. Okay, before we get into this one, you know what to do. Subscribe to that channel. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. It helps a lot. All right, remember to like this video. Like this video. It helps with the algorithm. It helps spread the word, right? And remember, if you want to find out about all Butler Did It content right here on YouTube, click that little bell. All right, let's talk about Malcolm and Marie, starring the phenomenal, just the amazing Zendaya, the phenomenal and the amazing John David Washington, and directed by Sam Levinson of Euphoria fame. All right, and that's, you know, we all know Zendaya from Euphoria. Euphoria is a dope show, one of my favorite shows out. But I didn't really love this movie. Okay, I've been noticing people online, you know, really trashing this film. Okay, I didn't hate this one, but I didn't love it, and I'm going to tell you why. The main reason I did not love this film is because, frankly, it's exhausting to watch. It's exhausting. The movie is essentially about an argument. John David Washington's character, Malcolm, is a film director. He comes home from a big film premiere. You know, he's premiering his debut film, I'm guessing, and he forgets to thank his girlfriend, Marie, and then they fight. They fight over this. Now, my problem with the film is not in the direction or the acting. Okay, I think Zendaya and John David Washington knock it out the park. In fact, I think they gave Oscar level performances, frankly. Like, I mean, they were killing it. Okay, this was Monologue City, and I usually love films with big monologues. In fact, Denzel Washington, one of my favorite films by Denzel Washington, is Fences, and that's full of monologues by him and Viola Davis, right? And I also love films that are set up like stage plays. I loved One Night in Miami. But this one, it just didn't hit the mark for me. And it wasn't because of the writing, it wasn't because of the directing or anything. It's just because it's hard to watch two people fight, right? It's hard to watch two people argue for 2 hours. Now, I understand that, you know, what I think the director really wanted to have us feel was the exhaustion that anyone would feel, that this couple's feeling by having this fight that lasts well into the morning. Okay, at one point, Malcolm, the character Malcolm, says, you know, I'm up at 2 o'clock in the morning fighting with you because I love you. And it felt like it was 2 o'clock in the morning when I was watching this film with my wife. We both came out of it just pretty much tired, and again, I'm gonna keep using the word exhausted. But the biggest question I have, and I usually don't ask this of art. Sometimes I don't really feel like art needs to teach you a lesson. I don't think it needs to present itself in a clean package every single time. But it also it shouldn't be pointless, right? It shouldn't be pointless, especially a film. A film should never be pointless. And I have to ask myself, what should I have learned from watching this film, and what was the point? I don't know. I really don't know what I was supposed to get from this film. Was I supposed to feel like Malcolm was a toxic character? Was I supposed to feel like Marie was a victim? Was Marie toxic because she had done some things to Malcolm in the past, or was Malcolm a bully for treating her a certain way? And oh, by the way, there's gonna be some spoilers in this one. For treating her a certain way and forgetting to thank her, therefore showing that he is not, you know, grateful of her. He's not happy to have her in his life, that he takes her for granted. Now let's talk about what people have been saying online about this. This film has been the talk of the town, right? And I guess that's, you know, a victory in itself. People are talking about your movie, then that's a good thing, right? People are interested in what you did. Even if they're hating, even if they dislike it, they talking about you, so that's a good thing, right? The overall consensus of this film is that Marie was the victim, that Malcolm was a arrogant character that was neglectful of her, unappreciative of her, and therefore he was a bully to her. And I can definitely see that. But again, If I'm sitting in the grocery store watching two people argue, or if I'm if I'm next door and I hear two people argue, right? And I don't have all of the context, even though the story tries to give me as much context as possible, right? They tried to explain that Marie was a addict and that she had, done some pretty foul things to Malcolm in the past because she was an addict, right? They tried to give you that, and now to help you understand why Malcolm would be so angry with her, right? But again, even with that, I didn't live their lives. I wasn't given this. I didn't see it. All I know is this is what he said. This is what she said. You see where I'm going with this. The loudest person is going to look like the bully in this situation, right? Zendaya is such a great actress. She's able to do that thing that I really love out of actors. Like, I really love when an actor can convey emotion without speaking. There's a scene where Malcolm is pretty much, as my wife would say, reading Marie for filth, right? I hope I said that right. Did I say that right? Okay. And she's just taking it. She's just taking it. The problem is, it looks like someone's bullying Zendaya and not the character Marie. It's difficult for me to understand as just a viewer how upset this man could possibly be at her because of all of the things that she has done to him in the past. All I know is that a guy came home from his film premiere thinking about himself, talking about himself, and forgot to thank his girlfriend, someone he wants to marry. He forgot to thank her and he didn't show her appreciation. And that's what everyone online is talking about. So what's the lesson here? That men can be selfish? That sometimes relationships can be toxic? When I finished watching this movie, I watched it with Jen, my wife, and I said to her, I wonder if people that aren't in, serious, dedicated relationships, marriages, people that are engaged, or people that are just in long-term, serious relationships are really going to get anything from this. Because the first thing you're going to think is, anyone that talks to me like this, I'm rolling out, I'm leaving. But when you're married, you can't do that, right? When you're in a long-term committed relationship with someone you love, that sometimes arguments can get a little tricky. You can be mean in an argument, but it's never cool when you're just sitting around watching someone. So if you're going to make a film about this, if you're going to make a film about two people fighting for 2 hours, what is the lesson? Is the lesson that you should appreciate your partner? Well, I'm not sure I need to see a 2-hour fight to get that lesson. I'm not sure you needed to make a movie about a 2-hour fight in order to help me understand that I need to thank my partner during big moments in my life. Here's one thing I did think about, though. If the movie is about appreciation, it took me a long time to realize that both characters wanted a thank you. And again, I think that's a bit of a failure just in the execution of the film. Again, so maybe I am being critical of the writing. I started this off saying I wasn't sure if I was critical of the writing. Maybe I am being critical of the writing because, again, the dialogue was great. The dialogue was entertaining at times. It flowed well. It was almost like poetry at times. But the execution of the script did not work for me because, again, I didn't get from it what I think the director wanted me to get from it. I understood at the end that Marie did not feel appreciated and loved because Malcolm did not thank her, and Malcolm apparently based this character on her, that he made the film, that he created a film that starred a character that was at the very least loosely based on his girlfriend. She wonders why, one, he didn't cast her in the film, and if he wasn't going to cast her in the film, why he couldn't at least thank her at the end. And at the end of it all, she talks about all of the things that she's done for him throughout the relationship, and that's usually true when it comes to relationships. Sometimes you don't think about all of the things that your partner, your wife, your husband does for you. I often think about all of the things my wife does for me, right? Just the little things that you could take for granted. I'm telling you, hey, by the way, I'm not here to give out marriage advice, but just always remember the small things that your partner does for you. Trust me, they do a lot. Okay. So I get that, right? That was spelled out for me. And if you want to have a winner and a loser in the situation, then Marie wins. But I go back to that scene at the bathtub. The scene at the bathtub where, and actually it starts off before the bathtub. It starts up in the kitchen where Malcolm tells her, look, you don't want to go there with me. You really don't want to go there with me. She brings up kind of like him not being appreciative of her, right? She kind of hints at that. And this is earlier in the movie. And he lays her out for, it feels like 10, 15 minutes, telling her all of the things he's done for her. He took her to rehab. She cheated on him. One time she ran away and cheated on him. She would have overdoses out, all this stuff he would do for her, and he didn't have to. And he ends it by saying, I don't need you. I just love you. Interesting, right? And again, that comes off as just like ill. The way it's presented on film, it's like ill. This guy, okay, yeah, you doing all this stuff. What do you want? He wants a thank you. Just like Marie. These are two people who are having an issue expressing the fact that they love each other, both through their actions and their words. It's a hang up between them. Neither one of them are sure that the other person understands how much they really love them. And that's a lot of relationships. I get it. I just don't think it was executed properly in this film. I had high expectations for this film. Me and my wife were waiting to watch this one. I don't hate it. I don't think that you shouldn't watch it. I actually would recommend it, especially if you are a couple. But I will say the film is exhausting. And hey, maybe that's the feeling he wanted me to get from this. Maybe he wanted me in the audience, me being the viewer, to be exhausted at the end of this. If that was the case, then bravo, sir. Bravo. But I got to ask myself, and I have to ask you, and tell me in the comments below, what were we supposed to learn from this film? What was the point? Why did they make a film starring two of the best young actors and best young actors of color? Put them in a room and have them argue for 2 hours. Again, I'm not upset because it wasn't a Black love celebration. I'm not upset that a white person wrote the film. The age difference didn't really bother me. I have to be honest. Zendaya's just a dope actress. I forgot that she's younger than him. John David Washington is on his way up. He's a dope actor. I've been following him for a long time, since Ballers. I'm a big fan of his. Okay. It's just the execution. The execution just wasn't there. So if you checked out this film, let me know what you thought in the comments below. Hit me up if you haven't. Go ahead and watch it, and then feel free to let me know what's up. All right. Remember, y'all, mind your mentals. Mind your mentals. It's hard out here. Okay. Marshawn said it best. Mind your mentals. Okay. Remember to stay fresh. That means mind, body, and spirit. And hey, on the physical too. Why not? Right. And always remember, and please continue, ladies and gentlemen, to be great. I love y'all. I'm up out of here.